did it.
Oh,
there
yeah.
you go. You like that?
Yeah, I see. I like it. You're trying to the dark. What the hell? That's not all black.
But it's gotta be CFTO colors. We got red in the place.
But
Look, it's black and red. That's blue. Alright, that's on me. I'll try. I'll come to the dark side with you one day. Black is the way, light is the place. I think that's how the saying goes. Welcome to Tuesday's WOD, guys. A little Fight Gone Bad style workout for you today. Working for a minute at different stations. Little minute rest in between. Before we forget though, your Ventura County CrossFit Republic shirts are in. I'll be at the box today at 5 p.m. To hand them out if you missed yesterday's pickup. If you still need to make arrangements to pick up your shirt, reach out to one of the coaches. We'll make sure you get it. But today, 4 rounds, alternating stations. We're going a minute of hang power clean. So from above the knee up to the shoulders, however that's going to work for you. Body weight options is going to be a tall vertical jump. Then we're going that suitcase style deadlift, so that offset deadlift motion. For a minute, you can switch hands as needed, or we'll work a single leg deadlift for body weight. A Turkish sit-up, not a get-up, but a sit-up. It's just going to be that first portion of it, getting a little bit of abs and a little bit of shoulder stability kind of working together. That's going to be a newer movement, so we'll show you guys all the ins and outs of that. And then a Renegade row, just to get some pulling in there, as well as some more shoulder stability or some kind of body weight pull. Resting a minute between your rounds, so working for 4, resting for 1, going 4 times through. And for pretty much any of these movements, dumbbell, kettlebell, ruck, or even in some cases an odd object are going to be just fine for this. But if you don't have anything to hold on to, this all can be done with body weight as well. So a lot of options to go over. My dark mentor Shar is going to show us this stuff. Starting with the hang power clean, it's just dumbbell, kettlebell. If we go single arm, this is a minute, so you can switch as needed. So we're not going to focus too much on alternating or how to go about it. But if you are using a dumbbell or kettlebell, the power is going to come from the hips as you launch that bell up to your shoulder. So if she's using a dumbbell, she can hinge, jump and scoop. She could even go vertical with it in between the legs and come through like that as well. Again, switching as needed, getting that weight up to the shoulder. The same process will work with the kettlebell. This one you're probably not going to switch as often, but you're going to tuck through, swing and scoop, and if you notice that bell stays close and she pushes that elbow underneath it. If by chance you wanted to go more of a two-handed approach, you could go dumbbell from the side. You just want to hinge as if it were a barbell, keeping it at the knee level, and then jumping and scooping underneath it as well. Again, going to be a little harder to pull that off with a kettlebell using 2 hands, but if you want to go that way with a dumbbell, that's perfectly fine. You can also do it with a ruck. It's going to be exactly what you would imagine, that same two-handed approach, hinging from the hips and just scooping under. Nothing too technical there. If you're doing a body weight, I feel like you always get stuck with this. You got to find something that's slightly out of range, and you gotta just jump for it. So she's going to hinge, she's gonna do that vertical jump and touch that rafter up there. Are you go find the tree outside?
No.
Go for the ceiling. But vertical jump, some kind of 12-inch target, just something for accountability to get up there. Get that explosion from the hips. I'm actually gonna position you right here in the middle because you have a suitcase on either side of you. So if she goes kettlebell or dumbbell, the suitcase deadlift is her hinging at the hips, hold right there for me, squaring shoulders and hips together. So as she stands up, everything is together. So shoulders and hips stay square. Give me another one. So she's fighting against that twist. So she sets it down and goes for the dumbbell. It's the same concept. You only have to touch one head of the dumbbell to the ground, but you're fighting against that twist. If by chance you only have a ruck or something and you need to do a standard deadlift because you're using 2 hands, that's fine. If you have 2 things of a similar weight, feel free to do them together and have one on each. This dumbbell and kettlebell weigh different, but the suitcase can be done in a 2-handed motion like that. But again, you're just fighting against that instability of that twist. If you go body weight, we'll do the single leg or the staggered stance deadlift. You won't need weight for this to really get in. So if she staggers, she can kickstand that leg back or push it back. the kickstand or the single leg will be just fine there. Just something to work those hamstrings. Again, keeping hips and shoulders square. Stimulus is the same no matter what. All right. So the Turkish sit-up. We'll move these weights out of the way. We want to go through it with just body weight first to get a feel for it, because you're not going to need a lot of weight here. So I'm going to have Char lay down. We are going to start this movement just like we would a normal Turkish get-up. So she's going to bend one knee up, and that knee, or that foot that's planted, that is the hand that goes up. So she has nice fist that she's aiming for my hand. Some people like this arm to be straight up to the side. Push for it to be at this 45-degree angle, because it's going to be more of a twist and push. This is a 4-step process compared to the Turkish get-up that I think is like a 14-step process. This is going to be a little easy. So step 1, twist and punch and come up to the elbow. Step 2, keep pressing straight up and come to the kickstand. Step 3, back to the elbow. Step 4, back to the start. So it doesn't have to be segmented quite that much, or quite that tempo, but that's the goal. If you focus on her hand, she is pushing up the whole time. So push up, down, and down. So there's none of this kind of motion going. So if she needed a challenge, we'll have her do one more. We'll use the laundry detergent. It's got a nice handle on it.
Make sure it's close.
Should be sealed. So twist and punch, up to the hand, back to the elbow, back to the ground. And you can switch hands as needed here. Probably 2 or 3 at a time is going to be your best way to go about it. Go ahead and show them one on the other side. So that twist and punch, up to the hand, back down, back down. So, in my opinion, probably way better than a Turkish sit-up, because you're actually going to be able to get more than 2 reps in a minute. But working those abs, fighting that shoulder stability. The final one, the Renegade row, or the table towel doorway row for body weight options. Switching is needed, so let's just start with the dumbbell. That's the common one here. That nice plank position. If you have 2 dumbbells, you can do both, but most of us just have one. Notice how she's pulling back here towards her hips, so that forearm is vertical at the back. So she's fighting not to have to twist and compensate with these hips, holding that plank nice and tight. When she's tired, she switches and pulls over just like that. Pulling back towards that hip, holding that tight plank position. If you did this with a kettlebell, it works. Just sometimes you need to elevate your hand a little bit to make up for the different range of motion. But the motion is the same on that. Table towel doorway row, we won't get into too much. You guys know those by now. We've been using the towel a lot, the leaning back, pulling in motion. Know that those options are there, and I think you guys have got that one down. But we're resting a minute, and then we're cycling through this whole thing again. So, minute of cleans or jumps, minute of deadlifts, minute of Turkish sit-ups, and a minute of Renegade row or some kind of body weight pull. Taking a minute off, scoring total reps for all 4 rounds. So cycle through that, really collect them, expect to see a little fall off. I'm interested to see what you guys think of these Turkish sit-ups. If you're like me, you're going to like them a lot more than the Turkish get-up. We'll see you guys soon. Don't forget to pick up your shirts today at 5 p.m. Catch us on Zoom tomorrow. Get on Instagram at CrossFit_TO. Use that hashtag BuiltByCFTO. See you guys on Wednesday.